Hi everybody, this is Community Spotlight and I'm Dan Levine. I'm sitting here with the End68 Hours of Hunger Program Coordinator, Mandy McDonald. Mandy,
Hi,
how are you
I'm
today?
good, thanks.
Excellent. Tell
Honored
us
to
a,
have been asked to
oh,
be a part
thank
of
you.
this.
Thank you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So, born and raised in the Valley, and have been in the school system now for 26 years. And I'm the family liaison over at Conway Elementary School. And it's just never been lost on me how so many of our littles are food insecure. We have teachers, buying snacks on their own dime and sending home extra food to kids. So back in 2014, I researched weekend food bag programs and discovered End68 Hours of Hunger. We're sitting in my warehouse right now.
Wonderful. What is End68 Hours of Hunger? What's that about?
Sure. So Claire Bloom is the executive director, and she is a retired naval officer and was having lunch with her friends in February of 2011 and couldn't believe some of the stories she was hearing, and started looking into food insecurity and realized that there were, students in her community in Dover, New Hampshire, and she started End68 Hours of Hunger. And so while we're our own entity up here, she is the executive director of all the End68s, which are now across the country. It's pretty amazing. So one of the reasons I latched onto it was it's very grassroots, and it's 100% volunteer run, and every cent raised or donated goes directly back to buy food.
And what does the food go towards?
It goes to school-age children.
Okay.
So it's meant, the 68 hours is the time between when a child would have their lunch at school on a Friday and the time that they would get free or reduced lunch on Monday mornings.
Okay.
So it's approximately 68 hours. And so recognizing, just how hard parents are working, many working 2 and 3 jobs, barely making ends meet. Minimum wage is not a living wage, as we all know. And now, especially since COVID and with the prices of food, where we fill and deliver 170 bags every single week.
Wow.
For all the schools in SAU 9, SAU 13. And we have food closets at the middle and the high school that any student can access at any time, because obviously as the students get older, it becomes a little bit more of a stigma, to have your school counselor chasing you down on a Friday. Don't forget your food bag. So the kids really like that. They have a little bit of choice and voice, and they can pick what they want and just discreetly put it in a backpack if they know they're going to be couch hopping on the weekend, couch surfing rather. And then we also do Conway Area Head Start, Children Unlimited, the Robert Frost School, Woodlands Charter, and did I say Head Start?
You did.
Yes.
Excellent. So it's all school-age children?
It's all school-age children.
Wonderful. That's such a great program and such a need, especially here in the Valley. You talked about, multi job households, and that's absolutely a thing here.
Sure.
So this started in 2014?
Yep, I brought it to the Valley in February of 2014. And I started, what I did, never anticipated it would get this big, is having worked at Conway L and I was immersed in that community. I had Claire come up and I invited some people from Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions Club, many of the local churches, and just wanted to get sort of a pulse for if this was going to be doable, if the community would back it. So we started with 20 bags at Conway L just to kind of work out the bugs. At the time we were doing actual backpacks, but as we got bigger, it just became a job unto itself. We were having to launder them and tracking people down to bring the backpacks back. And as much as I don't love plastic, we do recycle plastic, Hannaford or Walmart bags, and we collect those if ever anyone's interested in donating plastic bags. So we double bag those so they can go home on the bus and not get busted open or anything like that. And each bag has, there's enough for 3 dinners, 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and snacks to share. And it's one for each child in the family. So, if you're a family with 3 kids, you don't just get one food bag, each child gets one. There's approximately 3,200 calories in every bag, and there's between $10 and $12 worth of food.
And I look around the warehouse and I see a lot of easy to prepare meals.
And that's really the point. We want kids, if there's not an adult at home, to be able to prepare a meal or a snack for themselves.
Excellent. And we're in this kind of End68 Hours warehouse. Where is this located?
Sure. So we are finally in what I'm hoping is our forever home. One of the things that, like I said, every cent raised or donated goes to buy food. So that being said, I can't pay for a space and it's 100% volunteer. So we started early on. A dear friend, Sup Marshall, put us up in the old Abbott's Dairy on East Conway Road, which was great for a while, but then we had to move out of there. We were in the Bees Cafe plaza for a little bit. Then we were in the old rec center. I mean, where the rec center is now, and then had to move. So I approached our superintendent, Kevin Richards, and said, here's the deal. Like, we're in every school. Is there a way we could find a space sort of centrally located? And so we're actually in the old culinary department from when I was in high school here. So we're in the career tech, the old career tech.
Excellent.
So it's right near where they do the school board meetings, and it's easy access for my volunteers. There's no stairs because I do have quite a few elderly volunteers, and the stairs were an issue at one of our other locations. So this is really ideal.
So I got to ask you, you mentioned that you're the family liaison for the schools, for Conway
Just for Conway L. Each building has one.
Which would be a push to want to bring this here.
Sure.
But I've also worked in systems where a lot of the work is relied upon volunteers, and I know how much that becomes more a work of passion than it becomes, you know, hey, this is part of my job. So what is, aside of, you know, being the family liaison, what is your push? What is your drive to, you know, to have this here? Because I know it probably adds a lot to your workload. It
does. And I do most of the behind the scenes stuff on my own time. It's not part of my job at all. But obviously, like today, I was able to, I'll take my half an hour lunch break to meet with you. Just wanting to give kids, you know, what they need. We've tracked over time, belly aches have decreased on Monday mornings, headaches, those like kids just needing to get extra for breakfast, you know, because we know that they've had food in their bellies over the weekend.
If I'm not mistaken, there was also a direct correlation between nutrition and performance.
Definitely.
With kiddos, right?
Yep. Because if they haven't fed their bodies, then they're not feeding their minds, and they're not able to focus. And, you know, is it a fix-all for everything? Absolutely not. We recognize it's a Band-Aid and there are, you know, larger problems, but we're just hoping to do a little bit and it's to help families. You know, I see it as a hand up, not a handout. Families are so appreciative of it, and we try to be very, I don't ever want families to feel judged or less than. That's my biggest thing. So we really try to be discreet. You know, when we have new families that are coming in, we say, you know, we have this weekend opportunity if it's something you're interested. And what's really great is we do have quite the transient population between the elementary schools, and there's been something recently in the paper. So our numbers are pretty fluid, meaning like if I have a family that hops over to Pine Tree, I let them know, you know, they were a family that got food bags, take them off my list. So every week I fill out a whiteboard with each of the schools and the numbers. So then when my Thursday packing crews swoop in here, they know the numbers and they lay everything out. And then I have delivery volunteers that come every Friday morning and deliver to all the locations.
Okay. Do you have a website?
Machine. Yes. Yep. We have a very active Facebook page, End68 Hours of Hunger /MWV. And you can go right on to End68hoursofhunger.org, and that brings you to the main page, and then you click on Conway.
I will provide links also in the comments section. Do you have lists of the foods that you need donated on those websites?
Yes,
I will also provide that in the comments. So probably the last question I have for you, Mandy, which is, what can the community do to help you help these kids?
I mean, the community in the last 9 years has been unbelievable. I pinch myself every single week because I just get checks in the mail for people that believe in it, buy into it. I mean, how can you argue with feeding kids, right?
True story.
So, and I think people like a Jen's Friends, where it is going right back to the community and every single cent is going to buy food. That's something people really appreciate. You know, no one's getting a salary from this.
Sure.
And
so monetary donations, food donations, and I'll link that all in the comments section. So thank you, Mandy, so much for being here today.
Thank you so much.